Oh, hi. I'm Hsuan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Porto and Blocto. And yeah, we aim to make blockchain simple and accessible for everyone.
We're really excited to have Hsuan from the Porto team. His team's many contributions have highly enriched the Flow ecosystem and user experience, and we're honored to have you here, Hsuan. You want to take it away?
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Hsuan. Yeah, I've introduced myself briefly. Uh, and yeah, so I'm going to share some of the key features of Blocto Wallet that you can use as a Flow DApp developer. And so I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so your journey of building a Flow DApp probably starts from the Flow docs, and I'm not going to go through that. It's super easy to follow and super easy to build. And so in order to use Blocto Wallet in your Flow DApp, basically you just have to put on the config, the URL, the authentication URL from Blocto to your FCO config, and you're all set. And once you do that, you can, okay, I cannot see myself, but I guess you can, right?
Yeah, we see you. It's
Yeah,
fine.
cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, so once you do that, for example, in MotoGP Ignition, your users can connect to Blocto Wallet pretty easily. So basically, the users can use their email to create an account or log back into the account. So the account is binded to their email. And so it starts with a custodial service. That means we will manage the key for the users initially to make it easy for them. But they also do have the option to switch to non-custodial mode in the future, which I will talk more about later. So right now, once you enter your email, you will receive uh, like 6-digit code into your email. Let me get it done. Okay, so users also have the option to set up two-factor authentication, and let me do that as well. Okay, so yeah, and then you're all set. And you can use your Blocto account across multiple applications, including your app and the marketplaces, the other DApps on Flow. And yeah, so for example, if I go to MotoGP and purchase a pack, yeah, I purchased a pack and I opened it. I got some cards from it, and then I can immediately go to BloctoBay, log into the same account. Yeah, just showing that here, and log into the same account, and I can see my items here as well. So I got the pack, I got the cards, and I can list it for sale here. So for example, and this is also something that we have done recently. So most of the common users, they don't understand what the code does. Like for a tech savvy user, you might want to go into the code and see what actually happens. But we have built this mechanism to sort of pre-audit the code for the users. And so in order for your transactions to show up here, letting users know what they are actually doing, for example, right now I'm trying to list the NFT for sale at 30 flow tokens. And in order for your transaction to be able to do this, like you will have to like submit a PR to our like transaction repo. And like, for example, Starly did it, and your PR would look something like this. So basically you will share your code, like the transaction code that you will send in your DApp. And also with the transaction code, like you can share like the message that you want to share to the users. And it also comes with internationalization as well, localization as well. So you can put in like English version, you can put in like Korean version, Chinese version of the message here, and like you can put your argument in the message as well. So if, for example, like in your transaction, it actually takes two arguments, the item ID and the market collection address. And so like in this JSON, like you let us know that your arguments are named like this, and then you can put this into the message. So like users, when they send transactions, they will see like purchase a Starly card of like ID 10 from some address. Yeah, so that is also what you see here. So you list the NFT for sale at 30 flow. So this is an argument that's passed in from the transaction script. Yeah, so this makes life easier for the users. And also like the Blocto account is accessible cross-device. So once you get these items, like once you purchase these items, you also get to see them in your Blocto app, like Blocto mobile app. And as a DApp developer, like we have a form for you to submit your like NFT listing. So it takes about like 1 week to 2 weeks for us to process the listing. And once that's done, like users can see your NFT collection in Blocto app. And yeah, so like they can manage all the NFTs from across different places like Versus, Vive, MotoGP, CNN Vault, all different places in the same place. Yeah. And also, like as I mentioned, we do support non-custodial mode as well, because new users, it's easier for them to start with a custodial service where we manage the key for them and they don't have to worry too much about losing their keys. But for advanced users, they might want to manage the key themselves, and we have the option for them to do that switch. So basically, because like web is a relatively insecure like environment, for them to do that, they will have to download the Blocto app, and the keys will be generated and stored in their mobile device. And once they do that, so for example, this account that I'm connecting to is a non-custodial account. And once they do the switch, when they send transaction, for example, I want to update the listing price, probably not 20 flow, it's like dirt cheap. So yeah, so for example, I want to list it for 2000 flow, and then like I have to sign the transaction from my mobile device, and yeah, and so it kind of feels like the wallet connect experience where you can initiate the transaction from web, but do it in a more secure place, like on your mobile device. Yeah, and also like so there's one additional benefit if you submit the transaction to this repository, and we audit it first, because this way we can know that this transaction actually is intended to, like, for example, cost some amount of FUSD or some amount of flow token. So we have the possibility to check the user's balance before sending the transaction. So like you can see it in place like this. So I have around 160 flow tokens. and I want to purchase something that is 500 flow. And when I do that, um, since we have submitted this transaction to that repo, and now Blocto wallet can identify that this is the transaction that is costing some amount of flow tokens. So this is costing 500, but you only have like 160. So it can direct you to right now our payment process provider. It's MoonPay, to purchase the flow token, missing flow token that you need for the transaction. And once that purchase is done, the user will get like taken back to where they started and finish the transaction. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the Blocto wallet. So yeah, um, we focus a lot on like making users and developers experience better. So if you run into any issue that you think is like worth improving, like let us know, and we're happy to do that.
Wow.
Yeah, and also also by the way, we've just launched BloctoBay, and it's a open marketplace on Flow. So yeah, it's pretty new. It's only like 2 days old. So feel free to try it out and let us know if you run into any issues.
Hsuan, all of that is so exciting. Like I can't overstate like how cool all that is. Quick note, we're gonna all turn off our cameras so that more people can come into the room. But you know, Hsuan went over some of that stuff quickly, and I just wanted to drive home a couple of points. I mean, the fact that cadence now is not necessarily the key to knowing what's going on in a transaction is really amazing, and it adds a lot of transparency to the user experience. And people don't have to trust the developer when you know there's been an audit of a transaction. So that piece is really exciting, and so is everything else you've done, Hsuan. Thanks so much for sharing that here. We wanted to give people a chance to maybe ask questions at this time about that.
I have a question.
Go on, Barry.
Yeah. So first, I would just like to say thank you, Hsuan, for Blocto. We could not have made Versus without it. It's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and Versus is really great as well.
So we haven't submitted our transactions to your repo yet, and I'm going to do that ASAP, because the value add for doing that, just with the ability to be able to buy the excess FT that you're missing, is just immense. It's huge. I didn't know about that, and that is so awesome. So I'm going to do it as soon as I get back from my holiday, basically. I'm going to do it. But my question was, I asked you about this earlier, about what happens if, so do you, can Versus, my English is failing me, what happens if a user wants to do a transaction and they don't have enough flow? Is there a capability here for you for us to cover the cost for one of our users, if you got me? So let's say yeah, go on.
So you mean they're not having enough flow to, like, for example, cover the storage fee or the item itself?
Yeah, so both fees and transaction fees. So both transaction fees and storage fees. Is it possible to hook into that and see that? Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So actually, for transaction fee, we are already doing that. Although, like on mainnet, it's not actually charging fees right now. But so with our wallet, when you send a transaction and you put FCO, current user authorization, you put the currently connected wallet into the payer field, we will also do the transaction fee for the users. So actually, users are not using their own account to pay for the transaction fee. We are subsidizing for that. Yeah.
Wow.
But for the Yeah, but for the storage fee, since like it's going through a different mechanism right now, like it's harder for a payer to like subsidize
Yep.
for the fee directly. Yeah,
Yep.
but like we do have a plan. So actually we have done this with a couple of projects that they will essentially have to like, modify their transaction a little bit. So, for example, put in our account as the second authorizer, where
Yeah.
we can like pay for the like storage fee, like transfer a little bit of flow token to the user's account to cover for the for the storage fee. But this requires a lot of communication between
Yeah.
us and the DApp because like they will have to send this like complete transaction to us, and we will have to memorize the hash of the transaction. Otherwise, like our authorizer can be
Yeah.
used to do like very funky stuff. Yeah. So
Yeah. Gotcha.
so we do have this. Yeah. But yeah, we're still thinking of better ways to work with storage fee.
It's just amazing. Thank you for your answer.
Thanks. No problem.
Awesome. Did anybody else have questions for Hsuan?
I have a quick question. Okay.
Go for it, Phil.
Okay, thank you. So just to be clear, if you have the description attached to your transaction, the transaction is audited, is that right?
Absolutely.
Yes. And we want to invite others,
so do you think
not
it might
only us. Yeah.
Do you think it might be? I mean,
yeah.
I might have missed this, but do you think it might be useful to kind of include a visual indication to the user that it's been kind of audited, it's verified, it's safe, and so on?
Oh yeah, exactly, absolutely. So yeah, so we're thinking about like adding a sort of like blue check mark on the transaction to make it look more safe to the users. Yeah. We're
that's
adding that.
exactly what I had in mind. Yeah, brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool. Well, let me also just start off firstly echoing what Albert and Piotr said. The things you guys are doing are really awesome. So thank you for that. And if anyone has not had the opportunity to interact with the Blocto team on their Discord, you guys are really responsive. So thank you also for that. It's great to see that kind of thing from you. My question is around native mobile SDKs. Do you have any timeline on? I know there's some mention of that in your docs on the website, but nothing concrete. Do you have any clearer plans and timelines on that?
Yeah, so actually we are building the like native mobile SDKs on like most of the chains that we support, and I think yeah, I'm not sure they're Pete, like are you like do you have plans for like launching the native SDK on Flow?
Do we ever? Yeah. We should talk. We should talk actually, because there's been some really good work happening on FCL for mobile, like iOS and Android. We should talk about how that can connect with the Blocto native app, because I think that would be a really
That's
good
going to be another
experience to
game
unlock.
changer. That's going to be another
absolutely.
game changer, Pete. You know it. Oh.
yeah. So like we've been doing some experimentation with like Pete and James to like work out on this, and I think there's some good progress.
Yeah, so progress wise, we've seen Blocto like authenticating and signing from an iOS app using their current infrastructure. And so like all these features you just saw don't have to be remade and things like that for it. So it's all reusing if the wallets build things in FCL for like in an FCL compatible way with certain things being true, what we're working on should just work with any wallet that is FCL compatible and does those things.
That's amazing. And yeah, I mean, James, just a shout out to your team as well. Like I had to do some things on other chains this week, and it really sucks. So I think what you guys in Blocto are doing is really, really exciting. And again, to echo Bjartek, definitely game changer. So thank you.
Yeah, I just want to add in there from like my perspective. We kind of like when we were first starting this journey, we started making FCL. We made a demo kind of wallet to kind of like prove out the idea, and this like random person shows up in the GitHub and the Discord named Hsuan, and he asked some questions, and they were like solid questions, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And then he like radio silence for like 3 months, and then 3 months later, he's like, we have a wallet, and it worked, and it was like it was probably one of those like game changing moments for how flow is gonna go. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are stories that you have to look
this.
back to at some point, and you should mint an NFT with a story in. So like 5 years down the line, when the ecosystem has evolved way beyond this, we can look back at this story and remember the origins.
Yeah,
Sounds like
definitely.
you have a
And-
business plan.
Yeah, and from our perspective, like we when we first like discovered like what flow ecosystem was about to do, like it was really exciting for us because the Blocto team has always been focusing on making like experience simple, but making experience simple is not enough. You also need like interesting applications to go with it. And like we see like there's a lot of exciting things happening in the flow ecosystem, and we feel like this is like if we want to make experience easy for anything, like this is the ecosystem that we want to be part of. Yeah.
Well, we are so honored and blessed to have you in the ecosystem. It was true before, and it's even more true now.